someone's showing interest and they're engaged, they reach out, they seem present in the connection with you, there's chemistry and boing boing, and yet nothing actually moves forward. Plans don't solidify, clarity never quite arrives, and the connection just sort of hovers there. And the question that starts to form is simple and extremely frustrating. Why can someone seem interested but never actually follow through? Hi, I'm Kristen, and welcome to my channel. This is a space for grounded conversations around relationships, emotional patterns, and what lies beneath the surface of connection. So this isn't about ghosting. This is about something that's far more confusing. It's about people who stay in contact. We even see them, continue to see them and date them, but they never quite arrive. They don't disappear. They just don't move forward into anything that has clarity, focus, understanding, or that can become something substantial. One of the reasons why this is so confusing is because we tend to assume that interest automatically leads somewhere. But interest can mean a lot of different things to everybody. It can mean curiosity, it can mean attraction, it can mean emotional or physical stimulation. And sometimes interest is about connection itself, not about building something real from that connection. So someone can genuinely enjoy you, genuinely enjoy speaking with you. They can really enjoy spending time with you. They enjoy the feeling of connection, being in connection with you, without actually having the capacity, the desire to follow through on anything more than just simply connecting. This is usually how this dynamic shows up in real life. There's consistent communication, but no real plans. There's emotional openness, physical chemistry, but no real movement. There's a strong beginning, followed by a stalled middle, and perhaps unanswered ending. There's chemistry without direction, without action, without structure. And because it feels relational, it's easy to assume it's gonna go somewhere. But something essential is missing. And this isn't always about the fear of closeness from you or from them. Sometimes it's a fear of choice, a fear of impact, fear of what it could mean to actually commit to a direction, commit to a choice. Following through requires clarity. It requires responsibility, and it requires the willingness to disappoint someone else if needed. Staying ambiguous avoids all of that. It could be that they have an avoidant attachment style, and being ambiguous can be safer than being honest or taking a direction, right? So they avoid the breakup conversation because it will make them feel bad, even though, as opposed to ripping the Band-Aid off and having it be painful and then it's over, it's just this slow ache that's dull, that just goes on and on and on and on until someone either just completely floats away and you have no idea what's going on, or someone could possibly explode, especially if you've been repressing your feelings this entire time. But often it just kind of stays in this, weird hovering, lack of clarity kind of place that keeps everybody in the fear of making choice, keeps everybody in this fear of, walking into their truth, walking into the clarity of how they really feel. Have you ever been on the receiving end of this dynamic? Let me know in the comments below. This dynamic is very destabilizing because you start to question yourself. You wonder, am I too much? Am I asking for too much? Am I misreading the signals? Should I be a little bit more patient? But what's actually happening is that your nervous system is stuck in suspension. You're constantly waiting, waiting for clarity, waiting for movement, waiting for something to land. And over time, that erodes trust. And not just in the other person, but self-trust. So I've noticed this dynamic in my own life. A number of years ago, I was dating this guy for about 6 months. And on the surface, just everything looked really good. We had a lot of attraction, there was great chemistry, and we had some really, really cool dates, some real sweet moments. And for a while, it felt really easy. But I would say about halfway through the relationship, something started to shift very subtly. He was around, but getting increasingly busy. Busy with friends, projects, other commitments. There was still connection. We still had contact, we still saw each other, we still had this great physical chemistry, but less follow through. Plans became harder to pin down, time together felt less available, and what made it confusing was that nothing was ever clearly wrong. There was never a conversation that said, I don't want this, I don't want to be in a relationship, I don't feel like the chemistry with you is going anywhere. There was nothing like that. Just a growing sense that I was adjusting myself to fit his life. And I remember noticing, not dramatically, but quietly, that I always felt a little bit anxious. I felt unsettled. I could feel it in my body. Like I was always trying to read the situation, trying to understand where I stood with him, trying to make sense of mixed signals. Because I wasn't being mistreated in any kind of way, but I also wasn't being included, not fully in his life. And at some point I realized something important. I wasn't responding to the consistency. What I wanted was the chemistry, the attraction, and staying in that ambiguous state where nothing was wrong, but nothing was moving forward, was slowly costing me my own sense of grounding. And that's the moment I began to understand that connection isn't just about engagement. It's about whether something is actually moving forward. And it's about really feeling good with someone, not just responding to good chemistry, but responding to the essence of that person. Responding to how they make you feel when you're not in the space together, as opposed to, wow, I feel attracted. There's a lot of like chemistry. There's like great physical intimacy. And it's like instant gratification. But then when we're not together, it's this sort of yucky, liminal, unclear space that I am allowing to infiltrate my life. So if you find yourself in this kind of connection, you don't need to diagnose anyone. You can simply ask, is this interest paired with consistency? Is there movement, not just engagement? Do I feel settled or suspended? Those questions aren't about pressure, they're about clarity. They're about self-reclamation. Thank you so much for being here with me. If you are interested in a more intentional space to reflect and integrate, I host live meditation and journaling sessions based around these topics. I call them self-ceremonies, and they're grounding and designed as a nervous system reset and place to connect with yourself and community. So please feel free to hit the subscribe button, and you will always be notified when more talks like this come around and when I have those live sessions. Also, please give me a thumbs up. I love hearing from you guys in the comments. I absolutely love hearing your perspective and what you're going through, and the conversations that I see in the comments with people supporting each other. It's great, and it's one of the reasons why I'm here is community. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.